Hey, this is Doug Vermeeren, the Speaking Business Multiplier, with another speaking tip. As you've noticed in our podcast, we actually oftentimes show these surveys that I take with people at the events that I speak at. And I guess I just got an email earlier today from someone asking, why would I use a survey? Why would that help your speaking business? And what kind of questions would you ask? Well, one of the things that I found very useful about the survey is that it really does, if I do it prior to me speaking, in fact, even at the very beginning of the event in the day, it really primes people to ask some significant questions, which I'll be addressing later on. So in other words, oftentimes when people come to your event, they're in a certain state. Maybe they've come, directly out of traffic. Maybe they've even had a fight with their wife or husband. They could have come from dropping off the kids at school. So their mind isn't really yet into the learning and the teaching that you're going to be providing. And by using the survey, it kind of brings them into that mindset. One of the things you'll notice about my surveys, though, is they are calculated to help people in attendance recognize some of the problems that they may not immediately recognize in their business or even admit. So, really gives me a chance to prime them, to help them recognize that I'm here as a solution. Naturally, I'm collecting data, so it's a good data capture that's there. It also gives me some basic info on kind of where these people are at their business. And because I'm coaching speakers, I like to know what kind of speakers I've got in my audience. I'll often even go through these surveys myself personally backstage prior to taking the stage, just to kind of get an idea of who I've got and what needs they have. Some of the other questions that I share, and again, we'll go into detail more in this in another area, deals with which areas interest them most. And on this particular one, the question simply reads, which areas interest you most? Enjoy adventuring with top speakers, speaking internationally, attracting more clients, attracting more media attention, speaking to bigger audiences, creating more profit in your business, learning how to sell from the stage, positioning yourself as a top expert, and creating powerful products and programs. So one of the things that I really like about asking those questions is it also helps me understand what areas of interest there are to my students. So if I'm wanting to create a new program, or if I'm looking to sort of get a feel on where their needs are, this is a great tool to be able to do that. One of the other things I do kind of like too is I ask them point blank in here that if they're selected to work with me in my one-on-one, what would they be willing to do to ensure their success? And so in a way, it's kind of seeding that there's that opportunity to perhaps become one of my one-on-one students later on. Naturally, I limit the size of the class, and it is a little bit more expensive for people to have one-on-one training with me. But by planting that seed here, it lets them know that those possibilities are available if they qualify. I also love to ask, what questions they have for the speaking business. And as you've noticed, I've used those questions oftentimes in this video blog so that I can address what the concerns are for my audience, and I can address those even if they don't continue training with me or not. And chances are very good that the questions they're asking here are questions that many speakers have. So I'm a firm believer in using these surveys. One of the other things that I guess just as a side view, let me just get rid of that, or as a side note on these surveys is if there's let's say a speaking event with 8 speakers that are all taking the stage, and I hand out a survey at the very beginning, and I give them a gift for returning the survey completed, which normally I do a free audio CD, it really primes them to think about doing business with me, even if the other speakers are, prior to me coming out. They're always looking forward to hear, okay, so what's that guy got to say? He's the only one that really did the survey. He's the one that gave me the free CD. So even if somebody comes in there, there's lots of better speakers than me, but if someone comes in before me that's an incredibly great speaker, this still kind of positions me as somebody that they want to make sure that they listen to. And by the way, I've used the surveys as well to even get people to a breakout room. In the general session, they'll fill out the survey, but I'm not speaking maybe in the general session, I'm speaking in a breakout room. Well, now that they've filled out the survey and it's addressed some of the things that they're thinking about, created some curiosity, oftentimes that brings them back to my breakout room, which again, it's a really great tool, but the key with these surveys, I guess, and maybe this will be the concluding point, is they do need to provide value. So you need to ask questions in a way which a person can self-educate themselves and recognize that you get them, you understand their needs and problems, And through the course of the survey, like filling it out, they recognize that there are possible solutions for them. So again, this is a great tool. I encourage you to use it. And until next time, I'm Douglas Vermeeren, the Speaking Business Multiplier, and be brilliant. And just remember that now is your time. Oh, I love working with speakers because again, you guys change the world. So continue to do so.